Welcome back. Today we have a 30-year-old word which is practically newborn in terms of language, an event in the Fourth Crusade, a positively marvelous invention with honors to its inventor, an occasion of I do what I want, a brilliant and notable mycologist, a song and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's check it out. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for July 17th. July 17th is the 198th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 199th in leap years, with 167 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is cromulent. Cromulent is an adjective, an informal, humorous term that means acceptable, satisfactory, fine. And I don't mean fine like fine silk, I mean fine like okay. If this is a word you haven't heard much or at all, it might be because it's not that old of a word. In fact, the word cromulent first appears in 1996 in an episode of The Simpsons, Lisa the Iconoclast, when describing the word embiggen, which, by the way, also makes its first appearance in 1996. Lisa's teacher, Ms. Hoover, said that the word embiggen was a perfectly cromulent word. Initially coined as a humorous made-up word for this episode of The Simpsons, cromulent has since been adapted into popular culture to mean legitimate or acceptable. Example sentences could include, while his argument wasn't groundbreaking, it was certainly cromulent and held up during the debate. Or, Shelley's Bistro has a cromulent menu with a variety of decent options. First known use of the word cromulent, as I have mentioned already, is in 1996, cromulent. Cromulent was suggested by YouTube viewer Teresa Ramsire at @TRamsire. Thanks, Teresa. And if you have a word you'd like to suggest for this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, the actions we typically think of as the Crusades took place intermittently for about 400 or 500 years, from about the 1000s to the 1500s. What's generally thought of as the Fourth Crusade took place in the early 1200s, from about 1202 to 1204. And so just about in the middle of that time frame, Constantinople was captured by the Crusaders on July 17th, 1203. The universe was having a good day on July 17th, 1902. That's when Willis Carrier created the first air conditioner in Buffalo, New York. God bless him for that. You get these 100-plus days in the summer, and I don't know what we'd do without it, really. I mean, somehow our predecessors managed to get along without air conditioning before it was invented, so maybe we've become soft, but I'll take soft with air conditioning. Thank you very much. I'm really grateful for air conditioning, so thank you, Willis Carrier. Now, I think this next story is hilarious. On July 17th in 1938, an airplane pilot named Douglas Corrigan acquired the nickname of Wrong Way Corrigan, because he took off on a flight from New York City, ostensibly headed to California, but he ended up flying overseas to Ireland due to what he claimed was navigational error. Navigational error indeed. How in the world do you fly east over water when you're supposed to be flying west over land? He got it exactly backwards, but I think the story on that was that he wanted to fly to Ireland, but he couldn't get permission. So he said, okay, no problem. I'll go to California instead. And then he just went the way he wanted to in the first place. Wrong Way Corrigan. This is the birthday of mycologist and author Paul Stamets, born July 17th, 1955. Pretty interesting guy. He talks about mushrooms and fungi and stuff like that. The TV series Star Trek Discovery even named a character after him, Lieutenant Commander and astromycologist Paul Stamets. The real-life Paul Stamets has written several books about mushrooms and has a YouTube channel. He can probably get fairly technical, but he's still interesting to watch. I enjoy watching him and listening to him talk about mushrooms, mycology, and fungi. Happy birthday, Paul Stamets. All righty, today's song is Tossing and Turning by Bobby Lewis. It was number 1 on July 17, 1961. Written by Richie Adams and Malou Renee, Bobby Lewis recorded it in 1960. It was released in December of that year and hit that golden number 1 spot in July of 1961. Was number 1 for 7 weeks. That success netted the song number 1 single for 1961 and is often featured in oldies compilations. I've included a link to this song in the description, and you can also hear it in the 1978 movie Animal House. Tossing and Turning by Bobby Lewis, number 1, July 17, 1961. How about that? Today's quote is from Scottish essayist, historian, and philosopher Thomas Carlyle. He will have said and written many things on many subjects during his life. I found this one. Nature alone is antique, and the oldest art a mushroom. Thomas Carlyle. All righty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time.